Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon, and we'll move on to another campaign here on the DLC. I think I'm going to jump to the Battle for Golgotha. After doing Vulcan's Wrath and the Glory of Macragge, would like to switch it over. I don't know, maybe I'll do the Blood Angels and Orc Hunters. You guys let me know if you want me to reload that series on hard too. Originally I wasn't planning on it because I did beat it on the very hard difficulty without using a unit editor, if I remember correctly, but they definitely are kind of poor quality upload, since this was the first series I uploaded when I started this channel, and it was on like a $200 laptop that was already 5 years old at that point in time. So it was definitely processing imaging, recording imaging, and all that kind of stuff was definitely very hard on it, and the audio quality was just terrible. It was literally like a $10 mic that just plugged into an audio jack. So it's definitely pretty hard to watch nowadays. But if there's interest in it, I can potentially go back and do that too. I don't remember with the Untold Battles if I used a modifier on that as well. I'd have to go back and research it, but otherwise I've re-uploaded the basic campaign. I think I did that on easy difficulty, if I remember correctly, and that was just insanely easy. I mean, I would never recommend playing this game on easy. I think I also re-uploaded the orcs, if I remember correctly, and did that base game. And then as I'm working my way through these DLC as well, like I said, if there's not a big interest, I'll probably skip the Angels of Death and Orc Hunters, and I'm gonna have to go back and refresh my memory about the Untold Battle situation. But I think we should move on to the Battle for Golgotha here. This way it'll kind of alter the unit selection that we're using, just because I'm getting sick of using Venerable Dreadnoughts and Hellfire Dreadnoughts, Command Squads, and Sniper Squads for most of the missions, because that has in fact been what most of my constellation of forces have been. And by playing the Battle of Golgotha, it'll get me back to using the Imperial Guard. Now I think it's the Mortaring Guard, if I remember correctly, on this one. So I think it I don't remember if I even get access to Titans or anything on this map, but it'll at least be a little bit of a variation here, just to break things up a little bit. So let's take a look here. So the Battle for Golgotha, it has taken Commissar Yark 34 years to track down Ghazghul Thraka, the Beast of Armageddon. His location is on the orc-infested world of Golgotha. Take command of a company of Mortar and Iron Guard. Okay, it was. Okay, that's what I thought. Infantry, and join Yark in his quest to destroy the orc menace once and for all. So you have your different difficulty settings here. If you're unfamiliar with how it works, if you play on easy, that gives you 200% the normal amount of requisition, which is the resource in order to purchase and reinforce units. You get 200% experience for the units you kill, so they quickly level up. And then the AI units, their infantry and things, will have minus 50 units per squad, so it's very easy to kill guys. In terms of the normal difficulty, that's kind of the base game, which means you just get the standard amount of requisition and experience, and there's no alteration to the AI units. If you play on the challenging difficulty, which I did for the Vulcan's Wrath, I still think it's a little bit too easy. There really wasn't much of a challenge, but it drops. You start to suffer penalties, so it drops the requisition you'll get by 20%, so you'll get 80% of the normal. You'll still get the full 100% experience, and the AI units will start having plus 10 models per squad. Now on the hard difficulty, which is actually the difficulty I've been finding more enjoyment with, it gives you 70% of the requisition, so you're down 30% of the base. You get 100% of the experience, and then the AI units have plus 20 models to the squad. So I feel like that's kind of the sweet spot. We're still kind of challenging. You can definitely bog yourself down if you have bad force selection, but you should still be winning quite a bit. However, if you go to the very hard difficulty, which things definitely start to get wildly unbalanced, it causes you to stay at that 70% requisition. You still get 100% experience, but the AI models now will start getting 50 units per squad. And then when you're having missions where you have to fight in cities where they're getting defensive bonuses, they're not always being engaged into melee, so they're able to do a full squad replenish, and the model has 200 some units and then has a bunch of heavily armored units in there. It just becomes very hard. It's like you almost need to get into battles and then sidestep units and just focus on the objectives and things, and you just have to run around the map and not do things. And that can just be frustrating. It also requires that you're going to be reloading turns pretty much every turn for your attack rolls and things like that, to make sure you don't get your guys wiped, and then when the AI is attacking you, that you don't end up getting a bad roll, which causes your guys to die too, because you need to have the high experience in order to have the significant damage output, and you can't afford the requisition to restore your guys, because they're going to be suffering casualties, especially against the plus 50 models per squad, because even the low tier infantry that normally wouldn't be doing damage to vehicles, dreadnoughts, those heavily armored guys, will start killing high tier units, especially Terminators and other units that you usually use to clear out buildings, because there's just so many models there. They all have attacks, and then the chance of them getting a good roll goes up exponentially, because most of the squad size is somewhere between 20 and 30 models, so you're talking about giving 50 models to those, especially when they're high tier units like mega armored knobs and tank busters, things like that that have crazy amounts of damage output, and you have all those models, then all of a sudden you're increasing their squad by anywhere from 2 to 4 times the basic. It just creates things to just go completely lopsided. But because of those reasons, we are going to be playing on the hard difficulty. I always recommend that you have the Fog of War enabled and you have the undo buttons enabled as well. The reason for that is with the Fog of War, yes, you can see everything on the map, but the AI can also see everything on the map. So if you have any units that are anywhere near within attack range of one of the AI units that they'll be able to attack, then they're going to come at you and try to start focus firing down that unit, so you're going to suffer a bunch of casualties. Now on the easier difficulties, it'll help expedite the missions and do things like that, but on the harder difficulties, especially when you start suffering requisition penalties and things, keeping your units alive becomes essential, then it actually makes the game harder to have the Fog of War disabled. And then the undo button, I recommend that that's enabled because it's very, very easy to have some misclicks on this game, and as long as you haven't discovered any new enemies, you still have them selected, and you didn't expose anything critical, then you can undo that move and not have a penalty for it. Now you can't go back and forth like scouting and going back and discovering units, because if you end up finding new information out, the game will disable the undo button. Same if you were to move and then get attacked or attack something, you can't undo that. So that's a good way of doing it. You just got to be sure that you always have the unit still select that you want to undo the action, because as soon as that unit's no longer selected, even if you haven't moved anybody else, that undo move is no longer available to you. So just be cautious with that. So we are going to be playing on the hard difficulty now. Colonel Helm. Prepare your men. After 34 years, we have the Beast of Armageddon in our clutches. Ghazghkull Thraka will not escape me this time. Helm, I'm charging you with the advanced landing force. You need to secure a drop site, the mountain plateau known as Hadron, although the Orc filth will have called it something else. Once the plateau is scoured of Xenos, it will be highly a defensible position for an operational base on Golgotha's surface. While I marshal the greater forces of the Astra Militarum on the Devourer dropships Astra Militarum onto Devourer dropships for planetfall, I expect you to prepare the Hadron Plateau in the south. Purge it of orcs and be quick, for I don't want to give Thraka any margin for advantage. Do not disappoint me, Colonel. You heard the Commissar, Commander. Let's get to it. You must reduce the orc threat by capturing at least one of the orc camps by the end of turn 15. You must control both of your landing sites at the end of the mission. You, the company commander, must survive, and you must not lose more than 4 of your units. So this is where it starts to get kind of crazy when you start getting all these, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So you pretty much gotta decide which one of these forces you want to assault. I don't remember which one is which, but there's pros and cons of both. And the big thing is you just want to also hold your line here and make sure that you don't end up getting yourself taken out. So I was just trying to remember. Company commander. So I bet that's our unit here, so that's the one we have to protect here. So we've got the Hellhounds that have 60 armor. We've got the basic infantry here. We've got Sentinels, which are set up with las cannons, so they're actually anti-infantry units. And we've got Hellhounds here. I'm trying to remember, were there differences between regular Hellhounds and these guys? Looks like they're all the same. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of difference. That's actually probably an easier way of doing it. Yeah, so same initiative, heavy bolter, same amount of shots. So yeah, I'm not really seeing much of a difference here. We only have access to basic infantry and sentinels, so there's not really any reason for us to disband our forces. Now, I don't know if we're going to get attacked or not is the thing, so we'll just have to make a decision about which way we want to go. And I think I misspoke. I think I said the sentinels were anti-infantry. They're actually anti-vehicle with the las cannons, but just to clarify that. Yeah, their primary use is that they have a range sight of 4, so it allows you to use them as a scout, and then it has a range of 3, so it can weaken a few units or snipe guys that are almost dead. But that's kind of their main, well, I guess their third advantage is that they're walker units, which means that they generally can cover a lot more distance. Oh, we got some orcs over here that we can see. Thankfully, we had eyes on them from that first sentinel, or else that guy would have been locked into place. Now what I don't recall is, do I get to keep these Steel Legion forces, or do I only keep the Iron Guard? So we'll have to see how that works. So I'm just trying to pick these guys off at range so that way I don't activate them. And of course, saying that, I don't have enough damage here. And then remember that I get attacked at the base, so I'm setting up the mortar team and those infantry just to run around here and protect us from the flanks that are inevitably going to come. Now, I don't know by keeping my forces here if I activated the other units that are hiding in the fog of war over here or not, so I'm just kind of slowly advancing in case they're coming for me. That way we don't end up getting ourselves killed here. I'm not really seeing anybody come towards us. Now the scouts also have a range of 4 if you're unfamiliar with how this works, and then they have a range of up to 4 too, and they actually are an anti-infantry unit, and they have actually decent armor piercing, so they can take out light to medium vehicles as well. So there's definitely some nice things to be had by having those, and I would much prefer having scouts than sentinels because of the increased range that they have and the increased damage output to infantry, because usually it's the infantry, like the support guns and everything like that with the shooter boys, that get the guys killed, and then they have a range of 3, so the sentinels can't snipe them. Yep, so here comes the enemy forces. Now the mortar team is a support fire unit, which means that when the units attack somebody that's directly adjacent to them, the mortar team will fire first, and it weakens the enemy forces that are coming after you and lowers their damage rolls prior to getting the attack on the unit that they're doing. So it gives you like kind of a first strike ability. Now those guys in blacks are commandos. You gotta be very careful with fighting them because they have very damaging melee attack because they have explosives, so they can actually do really good damage to medium tier vehicles and some heavily armored vehicles if they have enough models. And because we're playing on the higher difficulty, these hard boys with the shooters, they can do enough damage to vehicles and things too, so you gotta be careful. And generally you want to snipe down these war bikes that are coming in because that's their range 4 units. Now Ogrins are who I was just attacking with. They have both a really powerful melee attack and some decent range damage as well. So I'm kind of using them as my heavy hitters here. So what tends to happen is they just will reinforce endlessly, so I'm just trying to lower the morale and kill some models, which usually causes the AI to focus on replenishing them. Now there are some other units coming here, but I don't think using those with the damage. Yeah, see, these are those range 3 guys I was talking about. So if that's the case, you want to kill them right away, because just like how you get support fire, the AI will get support fire too. So I'm just kind of shuffling around these infantry so the following turn I can restore the guys that were injured. And again, we got that support fire, but he got a pretty decent roll there. Alright, they're down. Those are just shooter boys, regular shooter boys. But all these guys have 50-some models per squad, so it's going to make it hard for me to wipe them. So I'm just putting him in this Chimera transport because that'll give him a range 3 attack. So again, I'm just trying to weaken down their forces a little bit. Going to reinforce the Ogrins because I definitely think I'm going to need to use their massive attack to wipe some squads here. Now these are just sluggas, so they don't have a good ranged attack. I think we just pull you back, have you shoot here. You come over here. Attack there. We'll reinforce everybody else. So I think what I probably should be doing is keeping the mortar and guard in the back, assuming that I don't get to bring the Steel Legion boys with me. because I think they're going to just be sacrificial lambs, but because I'm not sure about it, I'm just going to keep rotating these guys through. But if I in fact do not get to keep these Steel Legions for future missions, then I would definitely do this a little different than what I'm doing right now, because I think I'm going to suffer unnecessary losses. And the more units that die, every time you replenish your units, it causes you to lose experience, and you highly experienced units get significant damage output. Alright, well, I don't really want my Hellhounds to get killed here, but I think we're going to have to chance it. As you can see, I had a couple bad rolls, so I had to reload it there, and now we've guaranteed that kill. So if you're wondering why that chopped like that, that's the reason why. But it's like we went from suffering minimal damage to the first roll. I think I ended up losing like 3 chimeras. So as you can see, there's a huge variability. Now, units do have a zone of control, so I'm just kind of using those Ogrins to body block and protect our units, because they're strong enough that when the AI does calculations to figure out damage outputs, it's realizing that that's too dangerous for them to attack. And you'd think the Gretchens would be like weak and you don't even need to worry about them, but actually at 16 models they can have some pretty decent damage output, so definitely don't want to discount their potential damage. Now thankfully they're generally pretty easy to kill because they have no armor. Yeah, and I think I was going to try to bypass these guys, but I think I should just get the kill. Oh, damn it, I can't believe that just happened. I think I should focus on getting the kill because I think these guys are going to just run after my base. But then maybe I let them pass so I can attack the guys up here, because it'll take them several turns to get to my base. But my base defenses are definitely getting injured. Yeah, I think maybe we do. We just stay back and let them come to us. He's got a war boss. That's unfortunate. So that means he for sure can see us, because the war boss is actually used as a scout, which is very strange. It's a range 3 attack unit. It doesn't have a melee attack, and with that range of 4 it sets up visibility for all of the other orc units here. Let's just weaken some of these guys down here. There you go. Nice. And if you bring their morale down low enough, it sometimes causes the AI to stall out because the attack power is so low. And I think that was probably a stupid decision to bring those Mortarin up there like that, because now they're going to get attacked by everybody because they don't have any support fire. So that was a stupid move, but as you can see, he just killed one of my Hellhounds from a range 3, because the war boss has definitely got some damage output here. And unfortunately, he's on top of the hill here, so it makes it hard for me to get up here. So I should be able to do decent melee damage. And again, getting some crappy rolls, so I had to reload a little bit there. Alright, got him down to 6 models, so the following turn we should be able to get the kill there. Start focusing down those shooter boys. Yeah, I feel like I'm wasting too much requisition reinforcing these guys, because I kind of had it as a stupid rotation instead of keeping them next to my mortars. Now, the one bad thing is if my mortars start to get too low morale, then their attack potential goes down in the AI calculation, and they'll start sniping them like what just happened there.
Once they start suffering model losses, then the AI will just keep piling on attacks. Alright, so we got that, so now we just gotta survive 2 turns. I don't know if any of my guys are gonna get over here quick enough to try to reinforce the main squad. But we've at least completed our objective as long as we hold this spot here. I don't know. We'll sacrifice those guys there. Hopefully aggro a bunch of attacks, because I don't want those orcs to get into that building and then start shooting down my mortar team. Alright, so he took 4 attacks, so that wasn't unreasonable. Yeah, unfortunately my guys are so far away right now. Just keep trying to pick these guys off, I guess. But yeah, as you can see, he's got the support team up here. Shift those guys over. Hopefully he'll focus on the Steel Legion and not my Iron Guard. But the other part of me thinks he should be closer. To the mortar team to get that support fire. But I'm just not sure if he's going to keep going after the mortar team or not. It's more important that the mortar team survives and gets good experience if he carries through than the Steel Legionary infantry. Because honestly, if they get wiped out, I don't really care. Alright, victory is ours. So he's got a stronger cannon over there, so that one would have been harder to take out. The lava is not that bad.
That was surprisingly difficult. Oh, shit. Well, I assume these Steel Legion guys I'm not going to have on future missions. I assume only the Mortar and Guards are the ones that I care about, so I was kind of feeding the other guys to the grinder, but we'll see if that was the case or not. I'm impressed, Colonel Helm. You have secured the site, and I am informed Hadron Base is already operational. I like efficiency, Colonel. It is a trait often lacking in our organization, especially when bureaucrats from the Adeptus Terra become involved. Thank you, Commissar. The logistical operation is in hand. More forces arrive from orbit every hour, but this and my earlier operation have not gone unnoticed by the orcs. We are already receiving reports that they gather on the north of the plateau, no doubt massing for an attack. Then deal with it, Colonel. As I said, efficient, I think it's supposed to be efficiency, not efficiently, is key. I suppose the other one's okay too. It's what sets us apart from the mind-fogged diplomats and administrators. Take the attack to the orcs before they can strike and clear the Hadron Plateau once and for all. At once, Commissar. Commander, ready the men. Hopefully I can actually get some units that are going to be helpful here. Oh, I didn't really get to keep very many of those guys at all. Hold all victory locations by turn 20. Your company commander must survive. Additional units are available. Start to... Now these anti-tank guys would be much better if they had support fire. We got some artillery, we've got different Lehman Russ variants. We've got like no forces here. And I can't turn them to scout snipers for some reason. So that's pretty frustrating. Can I turn these to command squads? I sure as hell can't. If I turn you to these guys, then at least I suppose I can have them go into vehicles and have range 3 attacks. I guess the question is, at what angle do I want to be pushing at here? If I want to be moving at all angles, or what? I mean, I assume, given this objective, that they're going to counterattack me, kind of like what they just did. In which case we're going to want to have some guys back here. This one has the support fire, so that's nice. with their little machine gun nest here. But I'm going to call it quits here for the night. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.